Alright, good evening everyone. My name is Alicia Dini. I'm principal here at Tacoma Park Middle School. Welcome. And the first thing I want to do is I want to congratulate all the current 5th graders on being accepted into our program. Congratulations, that was a lot of work. I'd like to recognize you all. So welcome to our school. This is a really great school. Hopefully tonight you'll get an opportunity to understand a little bit more about our school community, really about like kind of the breadth of our program here, not just for math, science, and computer science, but really what we try to accomplish to provide a really well-rounded educational experience for our students. I've been principal here. This is my 7th year. I actually have been part of this community for 20 years. I started as a media assistant in the library in 1999, and I had no idea that I would end up being the person talking to you tonight. We have some exciting things going on at our school. Right now we have an addition going on that you all will enjoy next year as our community has grown over these last 20 years. Our building is only 20 years old, but since we reopened this building, we've continued to be a school not just for the magnet program and with people being interested in the magnet program, but also our local community has continued to grow, and it's continued to be a school that is we really try to be responsive to the multiple interests of students. So you're going to learn tonight about really the program, the magnet program specifically. You're going to get a lot of information about that so you can make a really well-informed decision with your child and your family, because we know that this, especially if you live outside of this community, this is a big family decision that you're making to make the commitment to come to a different place than where you live. So hopefully you'll get a sense of what we're trying to accomplish. We do a lot as well in this school to build a sense of community within the school. You may have noticed when you walked in, there are like lots of boxes stacked up. There's a book drive going on. There are lots of drives going on right now. We just had a big event here yesterday for Martin Luther King Day. So in addition to just a well-rounded educational experience, we do a lot to focus on values and the way we interact with each other as human beings and just thinking of one another, right? Not just in our daily interactions with students, but in how we think about serving the community at large. So I'm going to turn things over to Mr. DeGasperis. Scott DeGasperis is our magnet coordinator. Some of you, I'm sure you've seen his name on the letters that you received. He's going to walk you through the rest of this evening. He's going to introduce you to the multiple teachers and staff members that are here to talk in more specific detail about our program. And I just want to thank all the teachers that are here tonight, taking time out of their personal lives to come and speak to you and talk to you a little bit more about our school. So I'm going to welcome Scott DeGasperis, and he'll take over the rest of the agenda for tonight.
Thank you very much. So we're going to talk here as a whole group about a couple little logistical things to get that out of the way, and then we're going to break the kids out into groups and let them do a rotation to meet some current students and meet some of the teachers and talk about science, math, computer science, and we'll talk here with the grown-ups about curriculum and some different things. So first off, some logistical things, and I put transportation first because it's probably one of the more significant issues in terms of participating in the magnet program for a lot of you. Many of you live in this community, so it's not a big deal. But if you live in Rockville or Potomac or Bethesda, etc., other parts of Silver Spring, it is going to be an issue to consider. So the first thing I'll tell you is the current bus routes for this year are on the school's website. So take a look at the school's website and you can see the current routes. They are 90% the same from year to year. They don't change all that much. They do change based on schools being renovated. They might have to change stops and things like that. The buses work on what's called a central stop system, which means they're different than like the neighborhood stops. Like if you take a bus to your elementary school, you're probably used to the bus like coming right to the corner, like 2 blocks from your house, and then you send the kid out the door, they get on the bus and they go. Well, this is a little different. These are central stops. So the stops are schools, community centers, public libraries, things like that. So you need to think about where the nearest school might be to you. Depending on where you live in the county, it might be a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles from your house. And it is the parent's responsibility to get the child to and from the central stop. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's not necessarily going to pick you up at the corner near your house. If you happen to live right near a school, then maybe it'll be convenient. But take a look at that and kind of figure out in your head what might work for you, because that is a significant part of the decision you're going to make. Let me describe to you how the morning and afternoon transfer kind of happens. And let me just preface this by saying when I describe it, it sounds really scary, but it's not. It actually works really smoothly, but in describing it, it sounds like really convoluted and complicated and things like that. So here's what happens in the morning. Your child gets on, you find the stop that's near you, elementary school, community center. They wait there for the bus pulls up, they get on, along with students from Eastern, students from the Language Immersion Program at Silver Spring International, and the Blair High School Magnet Program. So it's a bunch of different kids. It goes and picks up kids where it's going. It goes over to Blair. The high school kids get off. The middle school kids stay on the bus. Then the bus leaves Blair and it goes down the road to Eastern Middle School, which is like a quarter mile away. Goes to Eastern Middle School. At that point, all the kids get off the bus. The Eastern kids go into the cafeteria. It's their school. The Magnet students, the Tacoma students, wait for a shuttle bus. And certain routes are designated to be shuttles. And if their route happens to be a shuttle, they can just sit on the bus. If not, they'll get off and there'll be a whole crowd of Tacoma kids there. And another bus will pull up that's designated as a shuttle. They'll get on that bus and it comes to Tacoma Park from Eastern, which is about 2 miles away. Okay? Now in the afternoon, similar but a little different. We have the first 7 buses in the row are Magnet shuttles. They can get on any one of those buses and the bus goes over to Blair. And then at Blair, there'll be like 20 buses lined up. Those are all the different routes. And they start with the 1,000 buses, then the 2,000, the 3,000, the 4,000, the 5,000, the 6,000. They're roughly in numbered order. And so then they find their route based on, where they're going to go, and they get on that bus, and the bus does its route and takes them home. So in the morning they transfer at Eastern, in the afternoon they transfer at Blair. And I should also mention that there are activity buses on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they operate similarly. There's a shuttle here, it goes over to Blair. But look at the activity routes too, because they're different than the regular routes. They don't duplicate all the stops. It's less kids, so it's less stops, and they're spread out a little farther. So the stop that you use for the regular route may not be available during the activity route, and you have to make an alternate choice. Okay, so that's transportation. Like I said, it is something to consider, and just think of your family logistics in terms of how it will work out for you. And the other thing I want to talk about quickly is registration. So on the letter you got, it has the URL, the bit.ly URL to give your response, which is, are you accepting or declining the invitation that we've made to you for Tacoma Park? If you are a student that's been invited to both Eastern and Tacoma, you need to pick one. So you'll have to fill out both the Eastern response form and the Tacoma response form. One of them you will say, I accept. The other one you will say, I decline. Assuming you want to accept one of them, you can decline both and go to your home school, that's fine. That's a choice as well. And then we're asking that you do that by February 7th. And then after that, what will happen is I will get that information from the Google form for all of you. It asks for your email address and stuff like that. And then I will do like a mail merge, and I'll send an email out to everyone who has accepted the invitation with another link for you to go to choose elective classes and things like that. Okay. I'll also tell you, like right now on the school's website, there is our course bulletin. You can look at that to see. We're going to talk a little bit about electives, but there's more longer descriptions of the electives in there that you can take a look at on the school's website. I think, yeah. So the big picture, students we have an 8-period schedule. Students take Magnet Math, Magnet Science, Magnet Computer Science with only students in the Magnet program, and then they take English and Global Humanities, which is the accelerated and enriched social studies class. And then they all take physical education and health. And those are 6 of their periods, and now they have 2 periods for electives. And that's where they might choose a foreign language, they might choose an arts class, they might choose band or orchestra, and we'll talk about that as we go through the presentation. Okay? So that is my bit.